Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Eric M. Lang, I like that, and Kevin Wilson, and we're looking at Generation Hex, which is a game from Third World Studios coming in 2014, and we got an advanced or prototype version of the game that you're showing off. So you said it's a game for 2 to 4 players. We got a 2-player setup here, and what are we doing? What's the setting for the game?
We're playing students at a magical school, kind of like Hogwarts or something.
Okay.
And this is our final exam, and we are competing to be the best student of the school.
Okay.
And we're going to do this by casting spells, which are known as theorems in the setting, and creating items. Now, the game is based off of the comic book, which is called Finding Gossamer. Mm-hmm. In the setting, math is magic, which is why the spells are known as theorems.
Okay.
It's like mathematical theorems. So the idea is that we're going to have kind of a market of cards out here. These are assignment cards, and we're going to be using our spell boards here to complete those assignments and score points. Down at the bottom here is prestige value.
Okay.
And that's basically the victory points of the game. Whoever has the most prestige at the end of the game is going to be the winner.
Okay.
So the way it's going to work is we're going to have a market of 4 cards.
All right.
Trying to break the game already.
That's right. Disagreement here between the.
And then we will
I said
have
5 cards. No.
And then we'll each have a private card of our own.
Okay.
And that's one that basically only you can do. And if you do it, you get a new private card to replace it, basically. So you always have one private card. So let's talk about the turn order, basically, how it works. On your turn, you're going to do one of 2 things, which is either take an action or rest.
Okay.
To take an action, you have these are going to be tiles in the final version, but they're called exhaustion tiles. And you choose one of the spaces on your spell board, and you basically activate it, and then you do what that says, what action is based on that. So kind of go through the easy ones here first.
Right. We can do it here, then we can focus as you point.
Okay, so here is an either-or space. The line means choose one or the other. If we do this one here, it would be like we would exhaust it, and then we would choose which one of the 2 to do. So for instance, if we did the red one here, this is gather shards, so we would take a red shard, put it over there.
Okay.
If we did the other one, this is focus will, which we would increase that. Will is limited to 9. Shards are not limited at all. You can have as many.
And shards and will are how you complete assignments.
Right.
These are the 2 resources of the game. We would start the game with 3 shards apiece, just so we have some that, and then we have 3 will each to start the game as well.
Right.
So that kind of explains the resources, and you can kind of see that the cards are color coded to the resources that you pay for. So you pay for these with will, you pay for these with shards, red for red, blue for blue.
Right.
But let's talk a little bit more about the board here. So those are these 2 actions here. This action is called calculate, and when you do calculate, you're going to have this market of 4 tiles out here. You get to choose one of these and set it next to your board. Let's say I want this one here. And at the end of your turn, you get to add it to your board.
Right, with things matching, obviously, as you have to do.
And these will create linkages between your different actions and such. So let's say I do this here as my turn. So I've taken it, at the end of my turn I add it to my board. The reason is you can't link into something that you just added to your board, so it goes on at the end of the turn. Now let's say my next turn, I might do this again, where I want to calculate again, and there'll be another tile out to replace that. And let's say I took this and added it here. Well, we also have a completed link between these 2 tiles here. So in addition to doing this action, I would also get to do this action for free.
Okay.
But it only goes adjacently, so we wouldn't get to chain down to here. And then if this was already exhausted beforehand, we wouldn't get to do it as well. So this is kind of the key to the whole game.
Combining those
building little action chains and building your board in order to have the most efficient way of generating resources.
Yeah, and because the tiles come out in different orders and you have different options each game, you're kind of like, this is the main tension of the game, is building this up and deciding when your board is good enough to where you want to score some points, or when you want to focus on building up the board more and things like that.
So how do we get to the spells or
All right.
the theorems.
So this here is complete assignment, the book here.
Okay.
When you do that one, you basically can, let's say I want to refine here. Well, it's a blue card, so I'm going to be spending will. I would activate my book, my complete assignment. I spend my 3 will because it says 3 there.
Yep.
And then I would do it. Now with theorems, they're one shot and then done. With items, they stay out and play and they have lingering effects.
Okay.
So for this case, we would put 1 prestige token on each of your items. I don't have any items currently. If I did, I would put little prestige points on them that would make more points, basically.
That's right. But you're a terrible player, apparently.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
chose this for nothing.
And then, you know, boop, it would tuck under there because it's a spell.
But it has they have a
It's
base
still worth
value.
points at
Yeah.
the end.
And that's why I would do it even if I didn't have items. It's still
Okay.
3 points.
And
Okay.
also maybe to deny your opponents who are setting up for it.
Yeah, like if you
Right.
had like 4 items over there, it's really good to do this and get this away from you.
Right.
So that's theorems. They have their one-shot effect and they go under.
Okay.
Let's say that I had 6 crystals when I did my book, and I wanted to buy the apothecary's elixir instead. So I'd pay my 6 crystals. I'd take this, and it would be placed out here, and it would stay in play. And so in this case, this one is whenever another player rests, remove all exhaustion tiles from your board, which we'll explain resting in a minute. But the idea is that now there's a permanent effect
Right.
that I have there. There's also, we got these kind of items here, which they have a wand on them. With those kind of items, if let's say I've already purchased this one earlier,
Right.
so I've already completed it, and then whenever I do the wand here, this is use an item. So I can choose one of my items that has the wand on it,
Yep.
and I can do that effect 1 time for each wand that I trigger.
Okay.
If I trigger 3 wands, I could trigger this thing 3 times, or if I had 2 different items, I could split it up
All
however
right.
I wanted.
As you build up wands with the various tiles that are
Exactly.
coming
So it's
out.
all about the chaining.
Okay.
So that's all the normal things. And then we have the chaos magic one here. This is a wild card icon. This can be any of the others. So this is one icon of any type, basically. So when we chain into it, I now choose, well, this time it's going to be a book. This time it's going to be a hand. This time it's going to be a wand.
Okay.
And that's the main way that the board works. Eric, you got anything?
So so going a little deeper, right? That's so the big fun of the game. So say like we've advanced at some point further into the game. I got this set up here.
Yep,
Right.
and let's do this 2 here.
I decide I'm going to set up for my big turn. I'm going to do. I'm going to activate this space. So like, all right, I'm going to choose one of these 2, and I'm also going to be. I won't get this
Okay.
It's not
because it's
linked.
not linked, but I will also get this and this.
Right.
Right, and then the following turn. But now I've, of course, by doing that, I've decreased my chain a little bit.
Right.
Next turn.
But you can still,
And now,
if this weren't here, you'd still chain out that way.
So it's all about the order in which you do it becomes very important.
Right.
and instead of taking your turn, you can rest. If
Oh,
you
yes.
rest, you take all exhaustion markers off of your board. So
Okay.
it's skip a turn to rest. And clearly, you want to rest as few times as possible, so you want to set up your board to be as efficient as
Right.
You can also like chuck your face down card and get a new one when you rest as well, just to like in case you don't like what you got. So.
Right. Okay.
And so the game is, there are a number of theorems and items in the deck. There's a pencils down card shuffled into the, it's 10 cards from the bottom.
Right.
So you won't see 10 cards every game. When the pencils down card comes out, the game is drawing to a close. And at the end of each person's turn, you roll a die on the 5 or 6, the game is over.
Okay.
So semi-predictable end, but you'll know generally by the size of your deck how close you are
Right.
to the end.
Okay.
And of course, there are lots of, because of the way the cards are designed, there are a lot of combos between the items. So your tactics are maximize as many points as you can, maximize as
So
many.
combos with this and combos with the cards,
Right.
all coming together to do this, along with the management of the resources and what you're doing here. Because if you have nothing, then you're not doing much of anything, I guess.
Exactly.
You have to combo it all together. All right. And early 2014 is this? What's
I think they're going to be kickstarting.
Obviously,
it.
there's still
This
some
is,
artwork.
Right.
We're waiting on that art.
Right.
And then they're going to kickstart it at that point. So the Kickstarter will probably show up this year.
Right.
And then it will probably come into stores early next year, I'm guessing.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thanks very much for the overview.
Thanks,
Very
Eric.
good.
Thanks for having us.